Hi, this is Mary.
And this is Nicole. We are both local MetroWest business owners, avid networkers, and supporters of our local community. My motto has always been shop local, support local, give local.
And since that's a little bit hard to do in physical way right now, we are doing this all the virtual way, and it works.
It has worked. We've made it work, right? So Nicole is the owner of Photo Fabulous You, where she and her team make superstars on LinkedIn. Her business is located in Westboro, Massachusetts.
And Mary is a mentor mom coaching millennials who want more mojo, money, and meaning in life. She runs 3 social selling businesses from home in Hopkinton.
Yes, Jackie, thank you so much. So I'm just going to read her brief bio so that I don't miss anything because she is a gem with tons of amazing experiences. So Jackie is the founder and CEO of Glen Diversity, Inclusion, and HR Solutions. She's also an author, and I'll get to that. She began her career when she joined the Human Resources Department of EMC Corporation. She immediately saw that her life's journey as a Jamaican immigrant in America could help EMC and others to create corporate environments that reflect the diverse world they're aiming to serve. She progressed to Global Chief Diversity Officer, overseeing 60,000 employees worldwide. Within this role, she created programs in organizational development, leadership, consulting, and employee training. She is a dynamic speaker, which I'm excited to hear, who hosts national and international conferences. She holds a Master's of Science degree in Human Resources Management from Lesley University and a bachelor's degree from Emmanuel College. Her love for civic advocacy includes service on several boards like Children's Services of Roxbury, the Board of Museum of African American History, and the Board of Overseers of Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital. As far as the author, Lift as I Climb, An Immigrant Girl's Journey Through Corporate America is Jackie's instructional biography on how she employed her 10 self-created gems to guide her journey from nanny to CEO. And I know Nicole has some questions about that. So welcome so much, Jackie.
I am excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, Jackie, can you tell us a little bit what you're working on right now?
Sure. I left Dell EMC in July of 2018 after 18 years in human resources and diversity. Left there and picked up something that I had in my bucket list that I was working on for quite a few years, and that was writing a book. It was always my intention to chronicle my journey from Jamaica as an immigrant to this country, really as an instruction for young and any immigrants that are coming or just people to this country or just thinking of how they can rise to whatever level they aspire to be. So I wrote the book. It debuted last April, an Amazon best-selling list at number 10. And since then, a lot of my former EMC colleague have called me to come work with them. So I quickly founded Glen Diversity and HR Solution, which is a consulting practice. And our goal is helping small to medium-sized business think through their diversity strategy. I also speak and do executive coaching.
Jackie, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit, what made you write your book? So can you tell us a little bit more about your book and how did you get inspired to write that?
So I've always wanted to write a book, and I came from a family, my mom was a chef. And so I always thought that I would use my corporate background and incorporate it with my cooking culinary background because I love to cook. It relaxes me. And so I never ever thought that I would write an instructive biography. But as I journeyed through my career in corporate America, there was so much nuggets that I took away. And being the mother of 2 daughters, I wanted to be able to leave something for them so that they and others that were coming up behind me in corporate America could use. And so I shift my focus when leaving corporate America and said, you know what, these are gems that I could use, because when I announced my, people call it my next chapter, I like to call it, I got so much email and people kept telling me how much I lift them up and they couldn't have been where they are if it wasn't for me. And it really gave me the idea for the title of my book. I always use those 10 self-called gems, which are just words like authenticity, resilience, integrity, trust, faith, empathy, responsibility. It's 10 of them. And I've always grown up with those words and I coined them my gems. And so putting them in a book so someone can use it, a quick read to sort of stay motivated, to sort of get themselves out of a rut if they're in a rut. And I really attached a lot of life stories without the names and the personality, how I show up at work authentically over the years, how I maintain resilience even when it was hard, and how I operate with integrity and empathy. And the book has really resonate with a lot of people, of course, with a lot of immigrants, but with a lot of people or offsprings of immigrants.
Yeah. So I'm one for myself, also immigrant from Germany, and we have in common the nanny part. So that's kind of a funny thing. But I think I let Mary. Will you take over the next question?
Sure. So can you explain some of the diversity spend benefits, such as contracts that are awarded to diverse companies and how that might restart the economy?
I think each company decide when and how they want to tackle diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not something that you can do the same for each company. For every company, it's different. And so what company normally do, and where I come in, I may get called from a company, not necessarily because, I'm a diversity small business owner, but because my background is so steep in the diversity, equity, and inclusion and HR field, that someone might find me through a recommendation who would have worked with me, who worked with me at EMC and said, Jackie, just started at this company. The landscape is not what we want it to look like from a DEI standpoint. And for those who are listening, diversity, equity, and inclusion, can you come in and help us think through what we should employ as a strategy based on our culture? So I have a 5-step approach that I use when I go into these company, because these are small and medium company. I do some large company, but Mary, a lot of company can't and don't have the resources to hire a full-time chief diversity officer. So I coined myself a diversity officer per diem or a diversity officer in residence. So they get the use of me, but I'm not there all the time. So per diem is good, and it works for a lot of small company, and they bring me in, and a lot of them have kept me there to help them think through how do they continue to evolve and transform as an inclusive company and also maintain their diversity in spite of COVID-19. There's a lot of that going on. A lot of people have to furlough and lay off. So I'm working with a lot of companies to look at the different people that are employed at the company and what methodology they use when they decide who stays and who goes.
I love that. I love unique titles. So I love how you've branded yourself as the Chief Inclusion Officer and the Chief Gratitude Ambassador. But
or I like to call myself as Chief Diversity, per diem Chief Diversity. You can, hire me for a couple of months, a couple of weeks, a day, 2 days. I do a lot of speaking, and so someone might want me to come in and to just speak with the BRGs or the ERGs about how they show up at work self-aware. Self-awareness is huge, and if that's one of my gems. And if people are not self-aware, it can derail them, not just in their professional career, but also in their personal life.
That's a perfect segue into my next question. So what has been the most challenging part of all of this personally for you since the start of the pandemic?
I think, from a personal standpoint, just being home with my husband, and he works from the house too. So he has always worked from home. So he has the dibs on the real office and I get to sit in the patio, which is where I am. but just to let him understand that my job, when I'm like talking as I am now, he can't walk in and talk to me, just adjust into normal, setting the ground rules and having him adhere to his wish isn't usually doesn't get accomplished. I think I'm just really figuring out how do we work together. So that's on the personal side. On the professional side, a lot of my business and my speaking business have been put on pause, but the forward thinking, there's a lot of forward thinking company that have used me on Zoom. And I applaud them for that. But it's changed a bit. I think company are very squeamish about what to do. And so a lot of the contracts that I had have been put on pause, not canceled. So I like that. So that has been tough for me. But I do have a lot of companies that are forward thinking, that are thinking of how can you do a lunch and learn online? How can you speak to our employees online? And how can you continue to educate people around the business imperative of diversity? So I'm doing a lot of lunch and learns and webinar online, which I really, really enjoy doing.
Awesome. So now I'm gonna ask a question from a more personal one, as far as from Women Shake It Up, where I make some drinks. So, Jackie, do you have a favorite drink coming from Jamaica? Do you have a favorite drink? And if you do, can you share it with us?
Yes, I do have a favorite drink coming from Jamaica. When I go out to visit, I cannot wait to get a nice cold glass of rum punch, Jamaican rum punch. And if you've never had it, we have to connect up so I can give you guys a bottle. You'll drink it until it's all gone. It's really delicious and it's strong, so you can't drink it and go for a drive. You just have to drink it and relax on the couch at home. But that's my favorite drink, Jamaican rum punch.
That sounds delicious. I told Nicole that at the end of all these interviews, we're going to have a party at her house with everyone that was involved in them, and everyone can bring their drink recipes and she'll shake them all up. So
I love that. I would love that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. All Jackie's information will be listed below once Nicole does her behind the scenes tech extraordinaire. We would like to support anyone who is interested in being sponsored or interviewed on our program. Please make sure to search for our hashtag Support495, because we are sharing news stories and tips from business owners locally. And we would love to hear your story as well. So in conclusion, let's remember to shop local, support local, give local, stay healthy, strong, sane,
and fabulous.